Hey, this is a little bit of a different video. I filmed myself on my phone. I went to my old place of work where I spent my life before I was a reseller, talking about my experience on that job. This is much less of an instructional video and more of a personal kind of biographical or autobiographical video. If you're looking for more of an informational video and you don't care about my personal life, no hard feelings, this probably isn't the video for you. Also, there was an audio issue, so there's about 30 seconds of really clear audio and then something went wrong in the phone and the audio is a little bit poor. I can't fix it. I apologize, but it was pretty in the moment video that I'm not going to shoot again, and if I have to choose between releasing it with an apology and not releasing it, I'm going to release it. We are on location at the building where I spent roughly 4 years, squandered 4 years of my life, right back there. And I don't know exactly what the point of this video is going to be, but I figured I would talk about that time and what life was like before I started reselling, how I started reselling, how much effort I put into it, and what the disproportionate return was on that time investment. So I was a professional writer by hook or by crook and was freelancing for a while. Did a bunch of goofy ass writing jobs. I wrote punch up for speeches, personal speeches, wedding addresses, and corporate meetings. That was insane. I wrote comedy punch up for internal corporate memos and email newsletters. That was almost as bad. I did some blogging, nothing really that great, and then I got this job through Craigslist for a writer rock star. So I was the rock star in question, which I think, my God, I've become the public vlogger. Contemptible. So I became the rock star. And I worked at this place for 4 years, writing clickbait articles. That was me. I did that to you, so I'm sorry. Writing just basically as close to pornography as we could legally get. Hottest wives and girlfriends of golfers, and I guess it was for people whose wives and girlfriends read their browser history so they couldn't look at actual porn, and they didn't know how to delete their browser history, or what, or people in countries with strict censorship where they had to look at pictures of Gwyneth Paltrow where you can kind of see 10% of her nipple. That's where it started, and then the censorship standards increased, and we had to switch over to doing kind of general interest, other kinds of bullshit like history, weirdest artifacts uncovered, weird stuff at the bottom of the ocean. No one knows what it is. It kind of looks like J-Lo's ass, and I would churn it out, just diarrhea straight into the internet. One day I wrote 17 of them in a single day. It was basically plagiarism. I was basically a hired plagiarist, where they would send me other clickbait articles that other clickbait companies had written already, and I just reworded the captions under the photos. It was awful, humiliating, life-denying, reduced the net intelligence of the world, including doing probably permanent brain damage to myself working at this place. And for people that I didn't necessarily respect, there were some decent, okay people that worked in the office, but it's definitely this new media type of entity where everything was just chill. Everything was so chill, and everybody's just pals. Everybody's just pal. Your boss is just a cool guy who drives a sports car and wants to talk to you about golf, wants to be your friend. And I hated it. I didn't fit in. I pretended. I played ball a little bit, or ping pong rather. Literally, I played ping pong in the office ping pong area zone, right next to the fleet of hoverboards. Oh God, I mean, it was not something I should really complain about because it was such an easy job. I mean, very little oversight, and I did get some benefits, and they would bring in sandwiches every Friday or let us order our own sandwiches. Isn't that neat? So can't super duper complain, but 4 years down the tube here, and I'm sure everybody can relate. I'm sure everybody's had some equivalent job, maybe not as easy as that one. I was lucky in that regard. It paid fairly well, and the reins were pretty loose, which is what allowed me to really start getting serious about reselling. So I was doing this, and then eventually I don't remember how it happened, but we started working from home one day a week, and then it went, because they were downsizing the office, they decided to save money on office space after having a conversation about installing a multi-thousand, I think like $100,000 professional golf simulator in the office, which is a real ongoing discussion that was conducted. So they finally just decided to downsize the office. I think this is when the clickbait bubble burst a little bit, and they were no longer just raking in money hand over fist. And then we temporarily started all working from home, remote, way pre-COVID, and then that just became the norm. We would meet in the office one day a week, and basically no oversight at all. So I just started thrifting, basically cheating. I barely worked. I spent a lot of time thrifting. I just became so sick of myself in this job and sick of the work that I was doing, and just utterly, completely unfulfilled. And nobody was paying attention at all. The boss was too busy flying drones around to really notice that I wasn't doing a whole lot. So I started just doing the thrift thing on the side. And if I had been doing something important, if I had been doing better work, I don't think that I would have behaved in this way. And I don't think that I would behave that way now, but at the time, I mean, I was just so desperate for anything else. And I just started, I started thrifting for myself on the side, and then it's this whole other story. It snowballed into starting the part-time reselling thing, and I was doing that on the side for a couple of years before finally I got a very uncharacteristically unchill email from the boss notifying me that I no longer had the job. And by that point, I had built up enough steam on eBay to where I could basically run pretty much full-time, although I still had a writing gig on the side that was supplementing my income. Had I not built up the eBay store, and I guess the Poshmark and Amazon stores as well, I would have been done. I would have had to have moved back in with my parents, and I mean, life would be radically different. And life is radically different now. This feels like forever ago, but it was only a couple of years. Life as a reseller is not a cakewalk, but it certainly beats the experience of pulling into this parking lot every day and just knowing for a fact that I'm not going to accomplish anything that means anything to anybody. That's a feeling I never really want to feel again, and that's one of the things that makes me not want to have a full-time real job ever again, or certainly not one anywhere close to as meaningless as this one was. I don't know. I don't want to glorify the reseller life, because I'm not, look, here's what I drive. It's a beat to shit 2004 Honda Odyssey. It's nothing but toil and work, with a little bit of fun and big dopamine spikes thrown in when you get the good find. But I would choose that tangible, immediate, and I guess chosen to be redundant discomfort over the deep corrosive malaise of doing shit that I truly hate. If you're curious about reselling at all, I would start now, even if it's little tchotchkes that you find at garage sales, little thumbtacks or bottle caps that you find sitting around, or someone you know gives you a big stack of old magazines they don't want anymore. Even just getting a little bit of meat between your teeth and a little bit of a track record. The more time you put into it, the more of a safety net it will provide. And believe it or not, it can provide a substantial enough safety net to actually catch you when you're pushed off a ledge. If you choose to keep your nonsense job that you hate, if you have the reselling running in the background, it will do a lot to alleviate the psychic pressure put on you of only doing the one thing for the one group and having all of your eggs in their basket and waiting for that for the big Louis Vuitton boot to come crushing down on all of your eggs. It's nice to have something that you control and that you own, even if it's only $50 a month. Psychologically, it will do you wonders. Just to have that little piece of your own destiny in your own hands. And of course, I don't have all of my destiny in my own hands. Nobody does. I have something that feels a little bit like freedom sometimes. It's nice to have some locus of control over your own finances and over your own time. And the more money that you can make for yourself, for your own efforts, beholden to nobody else, the safer you will feel subjectively. So I encourage you to do it. I think it's completely worth it. Whether it's reselling or even doing freelance writing, as much as it sucks, something like that, something that you own, something that you control. I think it is an important step in your journey. Sickening word. All right, I hope that wasn't too self-important, and I hope that it helps. And I hope to never ever come back here ever again.